Well, let's return to our story about unlicensed illegal gambling sites targeting gambling addicts here in the UK. Let's try once more to speak to Ismail Vali, founder of data analytics firm YieldSec, which has been looking at the traffic to these unlicensed sites. Ismail, thanks for bearing with us and those sound issues there. I just wanted you to sort of talk to us about your firm's findings that, you know, if you are a gambling addict and you're doing the best you can to protect yourself from that world, you can find these sites quite easily, but they also seek you out.
So, Jane, thank you. The biggest problem we have with illegal gambling in the UK is this has been growing for years. So we started talking about illegal gambling in Great Britain in 2020. We set up YieldSec, which is basically a firm that looks at all of the audience, all their activity, all of the time. We found that illegal gambling has grown from just a tiny share of the UK marketplace of just under 0.5% in 2020. It's now knocking on the door of 10% on our data from last year. The growth from that has been from two audiences in Great Britain. It's been from children and from self-excludes. And when you look at that marketplace, if I'm looking at the audience, which is everything that YieldSec and Gaming Compliance International, a firm that bought us recently, looks at, we found that the offshore gambling was targeting the United Kingdom because it wants a share of what is the most lucrative online gambling marketplace on the planet. It had no share of that 5 years ago, and during the pandemic, it came looking for that audience. Looking at a scheme like GamStop, a self-exclusion scheme for self-admitted problem gamblers, that's like a gaming reservation to these guys where they can basically look at and say, they are the most valuable customers who have a self-admitted problem. Let's go looking for that audience. And they found them through the scheme name, GamStop. So they didn't need to crack or hack any database here. They just went looking for the itch that those customers could not help but scratch at some point. So this was definitely crime coming looking for the share of a lucrative marketplace, Great Britain's, and it found the most vulnerable community there and went looking for them. If you're going to have a scheme like GamStop, you need to protect that scheme and you need to protect its credibility and what you've told people. You've told people who join a scheme like GamStop that they are going to be safe. That's not sincere if you don't monitor, police, enforce, and optimize your online marketplace.
Can I just pick up on something you just said there, which actually shocked me about the UK being the world's biggest marketplace for online gambling? Does the UK have a gambling problem?
I wouldn't say the UK has a gambling problem. This is a product that people demand and desire, and it's a lucrative developed nation, okay? So there is money there, and it's the oldest regulated gambling marketplace on the planet. So we got to this early. The problem is, as Chloe Long said today at the inquest, she made it very clear that maybe the law needs to change here, that the regulation and law we have around online gambling in the United Kingdom, it's going back to the 2005 Gambling Act. We had a series of the conservative Tory government looking at this and saying, we're going to change it, we're going to reform the law. This is a pre-smartphone law, as Chloe Long said. There probably needs to be a looking at this area where you say, okay, we're going to upgrade our regulation, upgrade our law to deal with all the changes that have come. And just let's remember here, the gamification of everything happened during the pandemic. So consumer behavior has been completely rewired when gaming became one of the main forms of activity during the pandemic because there was very little to do. Sports betting changed and people moved to playing on slot machines and casino games. That really changed consumer behavior globally from everything that YieldSec looks at. And that's something that needs to be looked at in every marketplace, including Great Britain's.
Yeah, so new, more robust, up-to-date legislation. I mean, you know, I just read out a statement from the Gambling Commission there. Legal gambling in this country, they're saying, you know, they've got a hold of it, it's well regulated, you know. It has permeated the fabric of the UK. If you look around, references to gambling are everywhere, particularly as you referenced there in sport. But they say that, you know, that is well looked after. But it's this illegal market. How does the UK, with legislation, tackle that? Because these are sites abroad.
Absolutely. Sarah Jane, one thing that's I'll point out here, not to correct you, not to say that you're wrong, we often refer to it as the illegal market. There is one marketplace, the Great British Marketplace for online betting and gaming. Crime came looking for a share of that one marketplace, and they found it. Consumers have no idea how to differentiate between stuff, and it's hard for any regulator anywhere to be able to say, how do we get people to stop clicking on these links, to stop looking for things that are potentially dangerous or harmful for them? And the issue here is it's through in the ecosystem. If I can find it on Instagram, if I can find it on TikTok, what is stopping me from clicking those things and then ending up with stuff that is illegal, illicit, and harmful? The point here is the Gambling Commission released a statement today, I think, saying that we take away 81,000 pieces of content, websites, etc. Now, not all of those are operators, just to be clear. It's much closer to content types. So all of the advertising, all of the influencer promotion, all of the reviews and affiliate websites that are telling me these sites are great for me. These sites will give me a great bonus. These sites are crypto gambling. These sites are predictor betting. All these new forms of gambling that are very badly covered by legislation everywhere, including in the UK. So if I can find it online, I can do damage with it to myself is the problem here. Consumers have no means of differentiating what's legal, what's illegal. Just because it has a Gambling Commission logo, a UK flag at the bottom of the website page, doesn't mean it's legal, doesn't mean it's even real. A lot of the illegal gambling we find are scam websites that will just take your money and then you can't even place bets with them or play any games there. So the point here is there needs to be much more up-to-date legislation and regulation. There needs to be a much better understanding by consumers generally that this stuff is potentially needs to be looked at and could be harmful for you. There also needs to be a piece here of acceptance of without monitoring, policing, enforcement and optimization by all government agencies and all legal stakeholders working together, including legal operators, including the Gambling Commission, including GamStop, work together to remove what's out there and remove the content, not just the illegal offshore websites, but everything in the supply chain behind them. And that's where my firm works internationally. We've been able to impact that by working through the supply chain to remove what causes this, because somebody supplies these illegal websites with the games they have, with the odds they have, with the payment provision they have. Get rid of all of those elements in the supply chain and you get rid of the illegal gambling.
Yeah, so much work to be done. Ismail Vali, YieldSec founder, thank you so much. An alarming insight into what is happening online and, as ever, what's happening online running faster than legislation and regulation can keep up. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Right, let's talk about pressure, more of it, on the bosses of South East Water tonight. They have been recalled to Parliament to